Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do some more stuff, but now we're moving from Gen 5 3S GTEs to Gen 4 3S GTEs. So I am going to basically refresh the Gen 4 3S GTE, and if you're wondering what am I talking about 3S 4 GTE, look at the last video because we just got a Gen 4 3S GTE for the 91 MR2. So that is where we are. Couldn't find a 2GR, still looking for a 2GR. Right now it's all about Gen 4. So I started kind of cleaning up stuff, tearing out the engine, and painting some parts. So we got the fuel rail painted already, and I'm trying to go with a different color scheme this time. So you'll see. I don't know if you guys will like it. I appreciate the comments. I just don't want to do the black valve cover again because we did that with Craig's car, Mike 93 Gen 5. So I want to do something different on this one. How different? I don't know. So we got the injectors cleaned. So these are the blue injectors. This is for Gen 4. Gen 5s are green. So these got cleaned and new seals put on, flow tested and all. Got a new ECU, well, not a new ECU, got an ECU from one of the members of MR2 OC. So just want to say thank you to that member. I'm not going to disclose his username or anything for privacy, but I was fortunate enough because I got this engine without an ECU, and fortunately a member at MR2 OC had a Gen 4 ECU, the only one I could find, so thank you so much. And he was able to send it over to me here for, decent price, okay? Now I've gotten some parts here. I got the hose from hell and earth. And I'm just kind of gathering some parts like gaskets and stuff, and I ordered some more stuff. So that's on its way. But in the meantime, I went ahead and I cleaned up this intake manifold. And this engine is it's not a clean engine, right? So it's gonna require a lot of work to get it clean. So I went to the black theme on the intake manifold here. And I'm gonna show you the engine in a second. But this is where we are. Everything's all cleaned up. Looking a lot better. Try to get in a better light here. Looking a lot better than it did, because let me tell you, man, this thing was janky. If you look at the previous videos, it was a mess. So it kind of came out really good. So I'm happy so far. So let's show you what we have on the engine. All right, so here's the Gen 4, and it's pretty much stripped down for the most part. Still gonna take the timing components off. But today what I want to do is clean all the grime off this thing because it is rusty, it is dirty. So yeah, I mean, it just looks messy. I want to try to clean in here as well, inside of these runners. And let me try to get this light in better. Let's see if that will work. So your typical, 50,000 mile JDM engine, as they say. I'm sure this one got more than 50,000 miles. Let's hope it even runs. But I'm gonna clean this up. I wanna get this painted as well. This valve cover, as you can see, it was polished before. So whoever had this engine before had it polished. And I'm gonna try to bring this polished look back to life. So we won't be having a black valve cover on this one. We're gonna have the polished valve cover, the black intake manifold as you saw. Trying to get the heat shield polished, and then we'll do some accents around the engine. So again, I'm hoping it will look good. I mean, feel free to throw your comments. But that's the back of the engine. Now here's the front. We got the usual turbo manifold here that's all rusted out. And then this engine has the oil cooler. So unlike a Gen 5 that has a block off plate, this has an oil cooler, hose from hell and earth. So we're gonna have to replace these. I'm gonna actually remove this oil cooler. There's a seal under here I'm gonna change, so I'm sure you guys will be interested to see that. And then I'm gonna take out all of this piping. Now this situation here, it's even complicated looking at it with outside of the engine. So just imagine how difficult this would be sitting inside the car. So we'll get this all replaced, and then we'll move over to the timing cover. And so far, I mean, everything looks sealed up. Doesn't look like there's anything that was leaking. It's pretty dry in here, but you just don't know. So we're gonna have to change the cam seals. We'll check these pulleys, see if they're good, and replace them, and just get the whole timing redone. The good news is the engine is in proper timing, so I checked it before when we pulled this off. So that's a good sign. Hopefully that this engine is healthy. But you know, when you buy these engines used, you just don't know what you're getting into. So fingers crossed, this will work out fine for us. So in the meantime, what we're gonna do today is try to clean this thing. I am hoping that I can clean it today and paint it today, but it's pretty messy, so I don't know how long this is gonna take me. And I really wanna get a good job cleaning this because I'm really in no rush to put it in the car. So just wanna take my time and get it done properly. So let's jump right into the cleaning process and see what happens. My setup, I'm in the garage because I don't wanna be outside. And I'm just gonna, all the mess is gonna fall to the floor. I'm gonna mop it up and just keep it moving. So we'll clean the floor while we clean the engine. So let's go. Well guys, what I'm trying to do is clean these runners. So I figured if I close the valve here by turning the engine, then I can spray this up in there and turn the engine down, everything will flow out. So as you can see, it's very dirty right now. I cleaned this one already. So here's what I'm doing. I don't think this will mess anything up, but just I hope for the best at this point. You see it? A little dirty inside here. I'm going to do all 4 of these by making sure again these intake ports are closed, the intake valves are closed, and get these nice and clean. Look at that. Well, I got the intake runners cleaned, so I basically closed the valves just by looking at the cam up here, rotate the engine, and then I shot some carb cleaner inside of these intake runners just to kind of get them cleaned out. And I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the gunk inside of the valve cover here because it's not as clean as the ones I've had before, but you know, trying to just make it look good. Not really gonna make a big difference, but since I have it off, I just felt like I needed to do this. So that's what I'm doing, and then we're gonna go check out the block. I mean, it looks okay. I just wanna make sure there's no grease on it, so when we paint it, it sticks. And then once we start painting it, it should start looking much better. So this is where we are with this Gen 4 3S. Well, here you have it. It looks the same as it did before I started cleaning it. So, man, this thing is rusty and crusty. I cleaned everything. The good news is it's clean, so there's no grease on it. So the paint should be able to bring it up a little bit, but it's rough. So what I'm gonna do right now, I wanna get this entire line off and the oil cooler off. And to get this hose from hell and whatever off, you gotta, well, you don't have to pull the oil, well, then again, you may have to pull the oil cooler, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna pull the oil cooler and I'm gonna try to slide this entire thing out. Now to get this entire thing out, I gotta pull the water pump off and then slide everything this way. So that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. So right now I'm gonna basically get all of this pipe, all of this, the oil cooler and everything removed. So in order to get to that, I now have to get to remove the timing cover, remove the timing belt and everything, so I can free the pump right here and then pull everything this way. At least that's my plan, so hopefully that works. So let's pull the tensioner here and get this belt off. I did set the timing, so there you go, one dot lined up with a valve cover, other dot lined up with a valve cover, and then if you look right here, there's that dot again that we keep talking about on the crank pulley. That's lined up with an arrow right here. So the engine is in proper timing as we pull it apart. So there you go, right there, that little dot right there. So the engine is in timing, so let's just take it off now, and then we know when we go to put it back that basically we have a ballpark, it's set. So that's kind of like where we are. And man, I'm really, look at the engine right now, because it has to look better with paint. It's looking really, really rough right now. So let's start off by getting this tensioner off. Well, I just cleaned my engine. I know I got coolant all over it, so I gotta clean that off again, because I'm assuming coolant won't allow paint to stick. So we're probably gonna get more coolant out of this thing. So now I'm gonna pull this clamp on the bottom, and I think this one is the hose from Hell on Earth. This little bend here. And this is to free this hose from the block. We'll just pull this guy off. And just imagine this. I'm doing this engine out. More coolant again. Ooh. So now I gotta mop up again. So we're pulling this, and then basically now this entire thing should be free to just get all of this off. Let me see. And luck would have it, I gotta pull one more 10mm here, and hopefully that will be free. So I'm gonna pull this bolt, and then I'm assuming this thing will be free and I can pull it out. So let's see what happens. All right, I got this little screw out of here. So now we got this whole piece kind of somewhat free. And where I'm gonna go into now is pulling. I pulled this already, so I'm just gonna remove the bolt for the oil cooler, and there's a seal behind there which we'll see in a second. I did order the replacement seal, so hopefully that comes as is. And now we gotta see how this piece works. This thing is in there. Alright, so now I'm gonna pull these two bolts. So we're just pulling stuff left and right. We're gonna pull these two screws which are on this little pipe right here. Might need a wrench to get in here. Let's see. So definitely the Gen 4 engine is a little bit more complicated than a Gen 5. So if you ask me, I prefer working on a Gen 5, because this oil cooler thing is just not, I guess it's not necessary. If the newer version doesn't have it, then this was probably overkill when they designed it. So let's see. So I was trying to get this out, and it's loose, but then this plate is in the way, and in the interest, I gotta pull everything off. So instead of fighting this thing, I decided to pull the cam gears off, pull the pulley off here, upper pulley, remove this plate so I can just slide everything off. So at this point, I'm pretty comfortable pulling these engines apart, so I'm just gonna rip everything apart. Before I used to kind of pull it apart, put it back together right away, because I didn't want to forget where stuff goes, but this is the third one now, so I'm fairly comfortable that I won't forget where everything goes. So we're gonna pull the cam gears off, we're gonna pull the upper idle off, we're gonna take this off, and then we're gonna try to get to that stuff. And the reason why I'm pulling that off is I have to replace the hoses and I want to paint the block, and that's kind of getting in the way, so why not, right? So let me get this off here. Alright, and now we're going to pull this plate off, and then we'll jump right back on this thing over here. Alright, so now I'm going to try to pull this piece off of this pipe. So there's the O-ring that's holding this thing in, so let's try to, there you go. So basically right in here, this O-ring, we just need to snap it out. So there you go, we have that out. There's our little ring, O-ring again, that's on the back end of the engine that we're gonna remember to replace. And these feel pretty decent, so who knows, this engine may have serviced recently, but you never know. All right, so this is off. And now we're gonna try to get to the oil cooler. And again, I'm just making room for myself here. So you have this bolt pulled. I mean, I'm thinking this thing should just pop right out. I'm just gonna wiggle it. There you go. Ooh, didn't hurt my hands. So that's off. And I'm hoping I can twist this thing out and get it off. Well, maybe I can't get it off without the turbo or pulling this piece. On the Gen 5, I was able to, but I don't know if it's gonna come out on this one. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna have to pull it from here. I'm gonna pull it from here, and then I'm going to slide the pipe out that direction. All right, but here you have it. There's our oil cooler. Now this is the seal. And as I can look at this one, I can tell it's a different seal than what's on the Gen 5. So Gen 4 different from Gen 5 for sure. So now we got some more oil, so we gotta clean up this block again, get it painted, and then we'll start to reinstall. All right, well that's gonna be it for today. So Gen 4 Trace GTE work, sweaty, crazy. All right, but hope you guys liked today. That's the disassembly of the oil cooler to replace these two hoses, hose from hell and earth. And this whole thing is gonna get painted and refreshed, so just stay tuned, keep watching, and more to come. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you on the next one.